Good morning, happy birthday, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. See, every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate it, and we're going to celebrate it today, of course, with these beautiful blue skies and the sun shining on my face. It is quite chilly because it is quite frosty, as you can probably tell. If you can see can you see that? No, you can't really see that. Anyway, frost coming out of my mouth. Cool. So, why wait to live a life you love? Why not start today? Yay, let's do that. Okay, and we're going to start off by celebrating a couple of people's birthdays, and we do that by blowing out our imaginary cake and also celebrating our own birthday, because every day is your birthday, if you choose to celebrate it. So we have an imaginary cake in front of us with candles on it, and we're going to blow out the candles and wish happy birthday to Bipul, Trish, Kevin, Elsewine, Chris, Stuart, Steve and Owen. So happy birthday to those people. So we clear out our lungs first. Then breathe in 5 through the nose. Hold for 5. And then blow out the candles and make a wish while we do it. And wish them a happy birthday. Remember all the happy birthdays you've had in the past. Do that 5 times in a row, ideally. Do it several times during the day if you like, especially if you're struggling with anxiety and or panic attacks, because it'll help to relieve and release the anxiety and the pain. Or you can talk about more about that if you are struggling with any more of that. Anyway, so happy birthday to those people: Bipul, Trish, Kevin, Elsewine, who I know through Helen, Chris Watkins, whose name I recognise but I can't remember where I know you from, Stuart Ritchie and Steve Critchley, of course, who are both utility warehouse people, but very big people in the utility warehouse. I'm sure you both know you've got the same birthday. If you don't, happy birthday to both of you. And Owen Showing, who I went to Shonning, who I went to school with, and who lives now in Cornwall now. And yeah, so nice to happy birthday to all you people. So there you go. Right, today we're going to talk about falling in love with yourself by improving your habits slightly. It's what we talk about a lot on this platform. Those habits and falling in love with yourself. It's kind of combining the two things. So we have the top 10 from James Clear, I think his name is. I can't remember his surname now. Who wrote the book Atomic Habits. So he's got a top 10 in the description. Go and check it out. By the way, I've also put the notes that I have on my screen while I'm talking to you guys. I just decided I'm going to start copying and pasting those into the bottom half of the description. I'm not sure if they'll still appear in Instagram. It might be too long for Instagram. But yeah, so you can just kind of see the notes that I've got, if you like. So I still have all the old ones as well. I may put them onto my old recordings in the future, but for now they're just little almost bullet points. So it may not even make sense to a lot of people, and I may miss some stuff out as well. That's kind of why I put them in there, because sometimes I miss stuff out and I don't do all of the things that are in the thing, especially when I run out of time. So falling in love with yourself by improving your habits. This comes back to the same topic we had yesterday, which is, or maybe the day before, I can't remember now, where we were talking about making a little promise to yourself and then sticking to it. Making a little promise to yourself and sticking to it. So proving to yourself that you can do the little things in your life. And James Clear talks about this being a noisy car coming past there. Wow, that looks like a Aston Martin actually. I think, not very good with cars. Okay, so he talks about how habits are little tiny votes for the person you are going to become, or who you have become. If you look at it back in the past, if you look at your habits from the past, they are little tiny votes that make you into the person that you are now. And if you change those habits, you adjust those habits, you improve those habits going forward, they are tiny little votes as to the person who you're going to become in the future. I love that concept, and this works the same, because when you know when you're doing a vote in a political sense, you don't need to get 100% of the votes. You only need a majority of the votes, don't you? So you need to make sure you keep these habits going more often than not. And I have a chart for this. It's all part of the 7-day challenge. Actually, the chart is part of my 12-week program, because it's 3 lots of 30 days. The program actually breaks down into, and it's about maintaining those habits. So the 7-day challenge is just getting started, changing those habits, seeing how easy it is to change those habits, and then the 12-week program is embedding those habits. So that's this thing. It's this voting system. And I have a chart called the Slight Edge chart, which is based on Darren Hardy's. I know, is it Darren Hardy? Anyway, the Slight Edge. I can't remember. Oh, Jeff Olson wrote the Slight Edge. That's right, I think. And basically, you start at 0 here, and every day you successfully do the habits you want to. You put 1 plus up. If you miss a habit, you go down 1. So it's you start off along here, and you go up 1, And if you miss a day, you go down one, but you're still above the 0. So the next day you can push one up, and you can miss a couple of days in a row. It's kind of okay because you can then put more and go up again. And then eventually the idea is that you finish the month as high up the chart as you possibly can, and definitely not below 0, because if you're below 0, you've done the habit less often, then that's not right, is it? more than 50% of the time you've not done the habit, and then that's not helpful. That's not voting for yourself, not voting for the person you want to become in the future. So that's what it is. It's those little tiny habits, and this is what we teach. This is what I teach anyway. Modifying your daily habits, things you already do, just changing them up to be slightly better, because again, as James says, these habits are built into us as human beings. It's what we do. We have a problem, and then we look for a solution, and we find a solution, and then we embed that solution. We do that solution over and over and over again, and eventually it becomes an automatic habit. Sometimes those problems can be tiny, like I need to tie my shoelaces, which he talks about in the video, and you learn how to tie your shoelaces, and then you can do that. Problem is you need to ride a bike, so you learn how to ride a bike, and then you learn how to ride a bike, and you never forget how to ride a bike because you learn how to do it. So these sort of like almost washing your teeth. It's a classic thing as well. You learn how to wash your teeth, and then you wash your teeth every single day, don't you? And it becomes a habit. You become somebody who washes their teeth on a regular basis. And if somebody doesn't wash their teeth on a regular basis, then they become somebody who doesn't, and maybe they have bad teeth as a result. And another thing he says on there is the person that you are now is accumulation of all the habits that you've used in the past. I can't remember what he said. He phrased that slightly better than that. Basically you become the person from the habits that you've done over time. Yeah, he phrases it better than that. I can't remember what it was he actually said. So then you can find sort of other problems that you need solutions to. So you come home from work stressed, or you're anxious, for example, and you're looking for a solution to that anxiety. You're looking for some sort of relief to that negativity. Some people may play computer games, some people may watch TV, some people may choose to drink, some people may choose to take drugs, some people may choose meditation, some people may choose to go for a run, do the exercise, go to the gym. These are all solutions to that I come home from work stressed scenario. And which one of those you choose is up to you. Now, if you've chosen one that isn't helpful to you going forward, then you have an opportunity to choose. And remember, we've talked several times in the past about making choices. It is your choice. It's not a case of I should do something. It is I choose to do something. So if you're not doing something, then you're choosing not to do something. It's up to you. It's your choice. It's your body. It's your brain. It's your life. You choose to do what you want to do. And whether or not you want to choose to do the good stuff that's going to help you move forward and become the person you want to be, then that's your choice as well. Because these habits will change, and you will fall in love with yourself if you choose good habits and you don't beat yourself up too much, and you don't choose habits which are going to cause you to beat yourself up on a regular basis through. Exactly. So that sort of stuff there. Morning, David, by the way. Just saw David pop on there. How you doing? Hope you're well. And the other thing that he was talking about as well, about habits, about embedding those habits, is habits that are rewarded immediately get repeated, and habits that are punished immediately get avoided. And so you can imagine what that is. And this comes back down. Remember, we talked about the marshmallows thing a couple of weeks ago. Short-term reward versus long-term reward, or short-term pleasure versus long-term reward. Can you resist the temptation of the one marshmallow in return for a bowl full of marshmallows in 15 minutes? That's the difference, really. It was a psychology test done with children in the past. You can look it up on YouTube. And of course you get what you repeat. And as I said at the beginning, each habit is a vote towards the person who you want to become. So it becomes your identity is formed from the habits that you choose over time. And so which habits are you going to choose going forward? That's basically the whole nugget of what I wanted to say. He also talked about human beings. Well, he actually talked about being versus doing. He said you become somebody by doing something. And I remember that somebody said once that we are not human doings, we are human beings. So we have to be somebody as opposed to do stuff. And I kind of like that. It's kind of cool. But in order to be something, you have to do things. So your habits make you into the person who you become. So you become the result of the habits that you choose. David's just making a note on here, which I can't actually read, so I'm just going to sign that. Sometimes conflict can arise between muscle memory and habits, especially if trying to practice something and develop a bad habit that becomes a muscle memory which may prove more difficult to break. Nice, yes, nice sunny day. Yes, exactly. Yes, you're quite right. Muscle memory is a difficult one to break. In fact, when I've just created this Rubik's Cube course. This is a classic example of this. Just to step on that for a second. James Clear also talks about changing your environment to adjust that muscle memory. So rather than doing the same thing every single time, you change things like, so for example, if you always put your keys on the table next to the door as you walk in the door and you want to change that habit, take the table away and your muscle won't, it'll go there, you'll want to do it, but the table won't be there, so you won't be able to do it anymore. And eventually, in time, you'll retrain your muscles to do something new. So back to my Rubik's Cube example. I've just created a Rubik's Cube course, which is basically how to solve the Rubik's Cube without learning how to do the Rubik's Cube. It's a paint by numbers, it's a choose your own adventure thing. You pick up a cube, you look at it, you work out what colours are on there, and you turn, according to the videos that I show you, which turn you make to solve the whole cube. And it takes less than an hour to solve the whole cube from scratch. If you want that, let me know, drop me a comment, or you can just go to findyourfire.co.uk/cube steps. Findyourfire.co.uk/cube steps. And if somebody wants to put that in the comments, that'd be fabulous. And I was teaching that. So I've created some moves that are really super easy to follow. There's the same thing over and over and over again. I've literally had to learn, to a certain extent, not learn new stuff because it's the same moves that I normally do, but I've had to learn how to do it really, really predictably and repeatable, so that when people are following it, it's really easy for them to follow the instructions. And then on the landing page, if you go to findyourfire.co.uk/cube steps, there's a 3-minute video, or it's 4.5 minutes actually, of me solving the cube using the exact same moves as I teach in the course. And I found it really, really hard to learn how to stop myself from doing the faster moves, the finger flicks that I'm so used to doing. In fact, if you look carefully, you'll see a couple of finger flicks in there, which I do by accident, because I'm so used to doing it. So it's like muscle memory thing. But it's a matter of repetition. So whilst it is a conflict between your muscle memory and your habits, you can overcome that muscle memory by consciously choosing to do something different on a regular basis, and then just doing it over and over and over again. And it becomes a new muscle memory by the number of times you changed it. I talk about this a lot actually, and I've done this a few times here. If you imagine a corner of a building in a public in town somewhere, and there's a bit of grass around the edge of the building, and people are cutting the corner off from the grass around the side of the building, and eventually they wear a path through there, and it becomes all muddy. Actually, this area that I stand on here to do my lives has become a bit muddy because I'm standing on it all the time. And in order to create a new path or make people go around, you have to put a barrier up. You have to stop people from walking across the pathway. So you can put a sign up that says "Don't walk on the grass." A lot of people ignore that and they'll just carry on walking across the grass. You can put a tiny little sort of like fence up there, sort of 3-foot fence, or well, not 3-foot fence, like a 1-foot fence up there, and a sign that says "Don't walk on the grass." And some rebels, will still jump over the grass, and walk across the thing. And then eventually you can put like a 4-foot fence up there, and maybe put some flowers in the fence, and eventually, or some barbed wire across the top of the fence, and eventually you just stop people going across there, and then the grass can finally grow up, and you can create a new habit. Effectively, new grass will grow up in front of the place there. So that's forming a new habit. I'm sorry, I've got an alarm on my clock. Just hold on 1 second while I turn that off. There you go. So it's about making the effort to change the habit, and over time, your new muscle memory will take over on that stuff. So that's kind of cool. I just realised it's gone to 15 minutes again, isn't it? I've got to watch out for that. I keep doing that, don't I? 15 minutes. I keep thinking 15 minutes is actually 13 minutes because I'm so used to the 24-hour clock. Which means I'm going to have to edit this down, and I really hate it when I have to edit these things. That's really annoying. For Instagram, YouTube, you're absolutely fine. Facebook, you're absolutely fine, but Instagram insists on it being less than 15 minutes. That's really frustrating. Anyway, so I'm going to send you all off with love. There was another little topic I wanted to talk about, just briefly. Actually, tell you, I'll do this little topic here, and Instagram people are just going to have to live without it. But I'm going to do the love here, and send love out into the world. Tell somebody you love them, enjoy your day, and have a lovely Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow. That's to the people who are on Instagram. For those of you on Facebook and YouTube, however, here's a little extra bonus about that Loveability thing. And sorry, I'm now, my brain's gone to having to edit this video in a minute, and it's just really frustrating. So yeah, so when I was listening to this this concept of loving yourself and your habits and not fearing negativity, for example, I'm not sure I encapsulated that perfectly in my earlier talk, but it reminded me, and I may make up this topic again tomorrow if I can incorporate it into the talk. It reminded me of my friend Melanie, whose birthday was a couple of days ago, and her daughter Molly, and my friend Danny, and her daughter Izzy. So Danny and Izzy are in Australia, and Melanie and Molly are in near Cheshire area, that sort of up north there somewhere. Cheshire. Anyway, up there area. And they're both showing their daughters. Both daughters had problems at birth. Danny's had a brain problem. Needed a shunt in the brain or something. I'm not quite sure the exact name for it. And Molly, I think, was premature. If she wasn't premature, there were some complications with the birth anyway. And so it's been really, really cool seeing these little girls grow up over the last 12 to 18 months or thereabouts, and seeing their personalities coming out on their Facebooks and Instagrams. Actually, I think they're both on Instagram, actually. So they're not going to see this. So I definitely need to put this onto an Instagram post future tomorrow. But what I noticed was that they're quite cheeky. And the mums talk to them about being cheeky, not naughty, just cheeky. What do you think you're doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? You know, that kind of stuff. And it's so cool to see the girls like have no fear, they're no shame, they're not worried about whether or not what they're doing is inappropriate or whatever. They just crack on with it, and it's fantastic to see. And it just shows that in those early years we have no fear, we have no shame, we have no judgment. We're not worried about what other people think of us. We just do the things that we enjoy and that we love. And then it's later on that we start embedding these ideas of shame and fear and judgment. I better not do that because people might not like it, that kind of stuff. So yes, topic for another future day, but a little surprise extra bonus for YouTubers and Facebookers. And I will do that I will address that topic again in a future one, which will be appropriate for Instagram. But now, that's the end for now, for sure. Take care, everybody. I'm late. My battery is dying, and I got to go. So, bye, guys. Thank you, Robert, for just popping on at the end there. Just wrapping up. Feel free to go back and watch the beginning of this as well, and that'd be lovely. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye for now. Sorry it was such a long one. These things happen.